Patient, you want to take a picture of it?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to guide their arm in and put them in the center. Okay. You want his arm in lengthwise there, so he needs to move over just a smidge more. Right here is, and you can feel a little indent in the carpal bones. Right there is where you want your central ray. Right there. Okay. Put your head really flat. There's a huge gap under here. So we don't want the gap. We want him to curl his fingers and bring that arm down to the table a little bit. Relax it down. There you go. Because we want to decrease OID, so we get nice sharp edges on there.
What's OID stand for again?
Oh, object to image receptor distance.
Can we do like this too? Like rat tick? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, curl under just a little bit. Right. So some people curl under this. So just be really careful that they're not going this much, because you're going to image out to here, and we don't need fingertips in there. So we're going to make sure we reduce where that is. So yeah. Also, if they naturally sit a little crooked, you want to kind of lift that side up so the wrist is nice and flat.
If they got
Level.
long nails.
You're fine.
Or if, let's say,
Oh,
someone
they have
has
long nails?
Yeah.
Just have them with their fingertips there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all good. Okay. So I'm gonna move him over just a smidge, right there. I want image receptor. I want the collimation to the knuckle, so it's going to be even if it goes to the knuckle there, and then 1 inch on either side. Whoops. Hold on. And 1 inch on either side. Right there. Marker on the lateral side, so a right marker. There's your PA. Okay? Oblique. Done. Super easy. 2-finger method for the lateral. Watch this. 1 finger, middle finger on the ulnar styloid. First finger, index finger on the radius. Turn the arm over. Make sure that your fingers are superimposed. It usually means that the hand's going to be rotated out just a slight bit, okay? Make sure he's centered, marker right there, and then we can collimate in just a little bit more. Done. Easy, right? Okay. Now we're going to do our ulnar deviation. Some patients cannot do this very much, so you just do the best you can, okay? We want to move that out to the side. Lift this up. I know your book shows that it goes under the hand, but what's going to happen is then you're going to have this OID there, and you're not going to have sharpness. So just lift the edge of the cassette up and shoot for the same place. Okay? Oops. Move it over just a smidge. Right there. Okay? So you're looking at this area right here. Some techs will collimate down to there because it's all they're looking for is that scaphoid bone. But this is textbook collimation. The other way you can do this, and this is why I don't have you do it because that's so much faster. Turn your hand out that way, your whole arm. Okay, right there. Rotate 10 to 15 degrees. 13 is my favorite number, so I'll go there. Same thing, right? Same thing. Because if I'm shooting this or this, it's the same thing because it's geometry, right? So that's acceptable, but it's so much easier to just do it the other way. So why? Right? Okay, so there's your 4 views of your wrist. Now we're going to do his forearm. Okay. Centered again. First, I want to make sure that I'm centered here. Oops. We hit the detent. We're not worried about detent because we're not using the bunkie. We just want to get centered to the cassette, right? And we know we're going to need about that. So I'm going to guide his arm over. Here's where his wrist is. Here's where the outside of his arm is. So I'm going to kind of guesstimate right about there. This is how I'm going to measure. I'm going to put one hand posterior, one hand at his wrist, and go halfway. That's my center point. Dang. What an eyeball. Okay? Pretty cool, huh? Makes sense? Right there. All right. Oops. Now, what I do need though, see how his arm is up here? I want him to scoot out that way and bring that arm all the way down to the table. There we go. If I need to readjust, I can do that. It's a bit of a stretch for him over that table, so let's just move it out here. And I want him to lean forward just a little bit. There we go. Good. All right. I want an inch posterior and at least an inch here. Come forward just a little. There we go. And I'm going to make sure I have an inch there. This is going to be your widest part here. So see how there's only like one little finger's width of light here? I want an inch of light there. So make sure you have an inch of light there. Don't worry about this, okay? Last thing, we're going to say, okay, I need to know I'm the #1 tech in the world. Give me a thumbs up. Okay? That way you have your radius is over your ulna, and you have your condyles sitting perpendicular to the IR. Make sense? Good. All right. Now we're going to do AP. I want you to turn your arm out this way. Okay? His arm is this way. I'm going to turn my cassette to match his arm. Putting that center line right under his arm. There's his elbow. There's his wrist. I'm going to kind of eyeball the center. And then I can grab my all-around lock, being really careful not to pull down because I don't want to be less than 40 inches because that would be a big no-no, right? All-around button. Let's get it in the center here. And I gotta be close to there because it keeps wanting to detent. Okay. Elbow there, hand here. I'm going to go just past the elbow because the olecranon is under here. So if we go to the elbow, you're going to clip the olecranon process. So come out a little bit from each one and center. Okay? And that's how you're going to find your center. Make sense? Good. Okay, we just need a little bit of collimation on each side, 1 inch. And make sure we have a little bit of the palm and a little bit past the elbow here. Marker there. Done. Okay? All right, your turn.